Well, hello and welcome to our Subconscious Speaks. My name's Don Robert, and together with my amazing, talented bestie,
Tina Orlando.
and together we are,
Tina Orlando.
and Don. And yeah, I know we're corny and we're okay with it.
It's okay.
Yeah, I
It's
come
great.
along for the ride. You're just,
Absolutely.
yeah. All right, so we've got a cat in the background. Is that our special guest today, or we got somebody else lined
Well,
up?
that's not the special guest. That's just the hypno cat in the background.
That's the Hypno
But
Cat. Yeah, that's right. That's
mm-hmm.
right.
But we
Yeah.
do have a special guest.
We do, don't we?
We do
I'm
with
kind
an
of excited
impressive
about
resume.
this. I'm
Hmm
I'm gonna play him on, and then
hmm
I'll bring him on, ladies and gentlemen, uh, and then you can do your introduction.
My introduction. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah. All right, so
Well.
hang on. Let me do this, and then let's do this, and see. Let's see if I can pull this off.
hmm
Can you hear that?
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Drew Orlando.
Bye. We have a little play on music for you, buddy. Love it. Love it. Awesome. You're supposed to talk more, Tina.
I'm supposed to talk. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Drew Orlando. A very special guest today with 20 years of theater and film experience, 15 years of improv, 10 years of sales, not biased anything, pretty great to Orlando.
There's this
Amazing.
uncanny resemblance I'm seeing in the Zoom room. What is going on with that? Well, hello, Drew.
Hi, Don.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are
It's good to
you?
see you. I'm
Yeah, you
well.
too.
I'm really well. Thanks. I appreciate
Mhm.
that. Thanks for coming along for the ride today. Kind of
Yeah, thanks
excited to
for
see
having
where
me.
this goes, man. Just in case you missed it, I know it's been a while. Drew started off trying to support his mom and I in
Yes.
the birth of our subconscious Spink. So he was in the delivery room. So thank you for your love and support. Appreciate you. And then
Always.
something magical happened. Drew got busy.
Yeah. Yeah. Too busy.
Drew's on stage. Drew's working. Drew is just loving life, man. So
Trying
let
to.
us know what's going on in your world these days.
Got tons of auditions, tons of shows back to back. Um, that's pretty much it. That outside of just like day job stuff. Um,
Short story.
huh?
Speak up, mother.
Go ahead.
Am I talking too low?
No, I would just say speak up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just lots of shows, lots of auditions, traveling for the shows, web series that I was doing, still doing on
All
YouTube.
right. You've got
Um,
to slow down. This is we do not have Evelyn Wood speed readers listening to us. Many of them are driving. So shows like you said something about a web series, like take an opportunity to tell us like a little bit more enriched details of what you're doing.
okay.
Like, okay, what show,
Um,
where? What do you, I mean, like we promoted you
Fair.
and we weren't in the show. I mean, I feel like there's a part of me with you in the show, and of
In
course, I'm
spirit,
there with your
yes.
mom. But yeah, so tell us what's going on, man.
Okay. So the show that I did was out in Thousand Oaks at Conejo Valley Players. That was Hotbed Hotel.
That was a lot
So
of fun.
yeah,
You
it
were
was a good
great in
time.
that.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, the cast was super dedicated. The rehearsals were like 6 days a week. Um, yeah, it was like a 3 month process. So did that, closed the show, and then one of the one of the castmates in the cast
Mhm.
um, has his own theater company out in, I guess, like in Ventura, close to Oxnard. And they were doing a staged reading, which is where you just read the scripts on stage typically, of a
Okay.
whole bunch of old absurdist plays. Those typically like don't make any sense. So there's a
Hmm.
lot of subtext that's pulled. Um, and the way that we were doing it was kind of different just because we added a lot of blocking, so a lot of movement on stage. Um, and I wasn't sure how well that was going to be received just because absurdism is not super well known or done in the US. It's typically out in the UK where they do that.
Okay.
Like London specifically, it does really well out there. Um, but it was great. We got a standing ovation. Opening night, closing night was
Nice.
almost sold out. Yeah, it was a really, really, really good time.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And mom, did the invite get lost in the mail on that one? Like what? Is it private viewing only? Like what happened? Like, do I need to go to Drew to get invites now? Like, what is the deal
No,
with that?
no, I didn't, this is the only one I didn't go to. It's just
Huh.
really heavy. So it was a
Ah,
really kind of sad. So I
okay.
don't
Yeah,
like to go to those.
Fair
And it's like,
enough.
yeah,
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 fair
yeah,
enough.
it was
Okay.
definitely darker for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of like death on stage, and
Hmm.
the one I did at the end was like funny, so they ended on a good note. But
Okay.
everything else before that, it just progressively got darker and darker. Um, so that's why.
Fair
Yeah,
enough. Fair enough. Yes, we've talked about mom and loss. So,
yeah,
yeah,
yep,
the
that'll do it.
listeners are familiar. All right. And so what are we doing now? Are we rehearsing for something? Are we what are we doing?
I have an audition tomorrow. It's for an original play. The director of Hotbed Hotel, she wrote a play. It's called The Diner. It's kind of like a romantic comedy. That's all the way out at the Elite Theater, which is in Oxnard. So it's like right off the waterfront there. That's where the
Okay.
theater is. It's the
Nice area.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. But it's the last play they're doing at that theater before they demolish it
Oh boy.
and turn it into a strawberry themed amusement park. Yep,
Okay.
yep. So the theater company's still alive. They're just moving to a different location for a different space. Um, but yeah, it'll be cool if I'm able to get cast in that. It'll be the last show they do there. So pretty cool. And it's an original piece.
So Drew, I'm curious,
Yeah.
what kind of training have you done as far as in the pursuit of acting?
Um, it started when I was 10. Uh,
10.
yeah, it was
Like the
10.
Colgate commercial with the
Yeah,
cute
yeah,
little
I
smile
wish.
guy. Look at that smile.
Yeah. No, I watched my dad did theater for a long time, like when he was younger, and then he was doing a couple of shows. One of the women that was in the cast had her own theater company. My sister and I started auditioning and just kind of jumped right into it. There was no training; it was just very hands-on. Um, and from there, I kept doing musicals and stuff in Northern California. After that, uh, I ended up joining, what was it, Creatures of Impulse. It's a traveling improv troupe. They would do 3 hour, no, not 3 hours, sorry, 2 hour shows that are completely improvised. So there's improv training there too.
Hmm.
Went to UCB, which is off of Melrose, I believe, and then the Groundlings is no, that's off of Sunset. The Groundlings is off of Melrose. So went to
Yep.
both of those when I came out here. Went
Okay.
to a performing arts high school where you had to audition to get in. Took James Franco's acting class, took Meisner classes, like just got kind of lost in it for a long time in a good way. So yeah.
Uh, Interesting. I don't know if you have overheard this or not, but James and I were actually at in acting class together and
I
were
did not know
scene
that.
partners. Yeah.
That's
This was
cool.
like he was at school, which is a Meisner school. Playhouse
Mhm.
West is the name of it.
Mhm.
Uh, Jeff Goldblum is I don't think he's still teaching there, but he was like he actually sat in a couple of my classes, which was like surreal, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but James and I were very friendly. He actually dog sat for me when my roommate at the time he went to visit his family in New York. I went to Florida during Christmas, and James stayed in our house because we had two dogs. He had a dog, and I had a dog. And James literally slept in our house. And but he was just James back then. He wasn't, he hadn't even gotten Freaks and Geeks yet.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like early days, early
Yeah.
days. Yeah. And you talk about somebody dedicated to their craft, man. That he was just constantly working and practicing and like rehearsing and doing the exercises that we were taught. 100% dedication, one of, if not the most dedicated students in the school for sure. So, and
Hmm.
talented and charming and good looking. That damn smile of his, like it just
Yeah, it
lights
just
up the
hits all
room,
the
man.
marks.
Yeah, kind of that
Yeah.
hallmark. Yeah, yeah, for sure. So what do you use now? What would you say you draw on the most now, like as far as all the education you've received?
I mean, a big piece of it is definitely all the things that I learned when I was doing short form and long form improv. A lot of that pulls from Meisner, for sure. It's all about reacting, and then you just build from the reaction, keep going and going and going, as you know. Um,
Authentically in the moment. Yeah. That's
yeah,
why it
absolutely.
really spoke to me. I loved it.
Yeah, it's a good time. That's what I pull from the most, I would
Okay.
say. Um, I feel like that's how you get the most genuine interactions and responses and reactions
Yeah.
on stage for sure.
Do you remember early days? I'm sorry, Tina. I'm just gushing over this
Go for it.
conversation right now. So, do you remember? I remember like early days, like I'm talking like within the first five classes of being introduced to, Meisner's technique
Mhm,
and I don't remember what the name of the exercise is called, but like they would have you and I come on stage and then one of us would say something to the other, and we would just play the repeat game until it
mhm.
naturally switched. Do you remember what
Yep.
that's called? Is that anything specific? And
No,
do you
I
want
don't
to do
remember the
it?
name. Yeah, we could do it if you want. Um,
You want to
yeah,
do it if you want?
yeah, we can do it if you want.
We can do it if you want.
We can do it if you want.
We can do it if I want.
Yeah, we can do it if I want.
We can do it if I want.
We can do it if I want.
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 If you want.
If you want.
If I want.
If I want.
If you want.
If you want.
If you want. Ladies and gentlemen, Drew Orlando and Don Robert present. What is that tomfoolery?
Jesus. Yeah,
Oh my God, dude.
that was what we started with, and then they added activities, is what they would call it. So you'd have
Yes.
to find a really difficult thing to do while you're
And
doing
then the
that.
door, right? Everything was started at the door.
Hmm.
Okay, so here's where I'm getting with this. I appreciate you playing along. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. That was fun. So I had talked earlier on another episode about just the connection to Meisner and hypnotherapy and hypnosis and the subconscious and this believability of using. Meisner said, don't use the fact that your mom died 3 years ago. That'll lose its weight after a while, especially if you're doing, 10 shows a week, but use your imagination and your senses. And
Hmm.
so what when did you kind of I mean, I would imagine it has something to do with your mom going to HMI, but when did this whole hypnosis thing enter into your cerebral cortex?
That started actually when I took a break from acting. Um, I ended up like right after high school. I was doing stand-in and double work out in Virginia. Um, and after I came back, I ended up like I needed to get a job. Like I had to just go to the next thing.
Right.
So I ended up working in car sales and just, I don't know if you know the environment with that, but it's
I
real
I
toxic.
worked in car sales for I want to say like a week, and I'm happy
Mhm.
to tell you about that experience. But go ahead, finish
Okay.
where you're going.
Yeah, and it was just mentally crushing.
Mm,
Not like the sales aspect, just the environments with
yeah.
like the managers and everything. So I've gone to traditional therapy, and my mom was going to HMI and referred me over to Joe Tabanella. Yep. So I don't know. It was what, a year, Mom, that I went and saw Joe.
I think it was like 6 months.
Was it really?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Felt like a year. um, yeah. So I went and had sessions with him, and that's kind of where um, things like I entered into that realm a little bit. So
And is that where you learned about NLP and building rapport and matching and mirroring, like some of the tools that you're probably using today,
Yeah.
unbeknownst to you, they just
Mhm.
become kind of part of you, like an actor's tool bag, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe definitely furthered a lot of that because I had already been working in car sales for like 2 years at that point. And I've done sales for over 10 years now, which is weird to say. So yeah, it was just, he kind of, how do I explain it? Like just compounded what was already there and it just
Mm,
pushed it further.
yeah.
And also just changed the way that I was like dealing and looking at different things and riding the momentum of success. And when things get slow, learning to enjoy that, like those kinds of things, just kind of double downing on everything, like in
Mm,
regards to Meisner and that, just staying present as much as you can.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Mom.
Mm.
Mm.
Like, I'm going to talk
Hmm.
now.
I mean, if you want.
It's never been an issue before, so I don't know why it would be now.
Yeah. So what techniques do you use in whether it's auditioning or sales, or is there something that you use when it comes to like mindset or NLP, whichever one, or both? Which ones do you gravitate to and really um, see kind of the fruits of the labor there? Like which ones do you see the benefit of the most?
You just got to act as if. That's the biggest one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's already yours. And if it's not, that means, that the next thing is like you just keep going. That's the other one. It's those two things. Um, that's what I hold on to the most. And that works really well for auditions and shows. And it works well for, I mean, when I worked in car sales and just normal sales now, like closing stuff, um, just assuming that it's already done, that it's already yours, that it's already finished, and you have what you want.
So
So
that's the mindset when you go into an audition.
yeah, that and to have fun, not take everything so seriously because it's not that serious.
Mm-hmm.
You know, very big on that. So that's what helps the most because I don't know, it gets nerve wracking for sure, and especially after you get cast in a role. The like then like the pressure's actually on, so you have to kind of let go of everything that you were just doing and stay where you're at, if that makes sense. There's probably a better way to explain that, but it's just keeping with moment to moment and like taking the stress, having it, letting it go, going to the next thing. Um, Obviously dealing with it, but letting things go, not harboring that because it'll eat you alive throughout the process.
Mm. That is kind of the unbeknownst scene that most people don't really get a understanding of is the amount of rejection an actor goes through on a daily, weekly
Yeah.
basis. How do you put your mind right with all of that?
Um, it's a weird line
Did you
between
think
like
this was going
hope.
to be an easy chat today? I don't.
No, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. I'm glad it's not. No.
I know. I'm glad that we didn't tell you.
Yeah, no, I'm cool with it. Yeah. It's a weird thing because I've always approached things as like hoping for the best and expecting the worst.
Mm,
Um, but that hasn't served me as well as just going in and being like, okay, if they do say no, that means that there's got to be something greater coming, and that whatever was said no to isn't for me. It's not the time. That's not it. So there's got to be something better coming my
mm,
way eventually. And if not, not. Like you just keep going. I mean, that's the only way to do it. You can't get hung up
yeah.
on the no. So
Yeah. So I think I've been in sales a really long time as well.
mhm.
I still consider myself in sales. Now I'm selling myself and
Yeah.
my value as a clinical hypnotherapist and a coach and a mentor, an educator. But I'm still just using the same tools as I used when I was selling security and I had to call on people that had no idea I was coming, that were very
Mm.
mad at the company I was working for at the time. I started off my career in outside sales after the little week of trying to sell cars. That was horrible. They had me actually. This was something Jeep and Chrysler was doing. This has got to be like 1980 maybe 81 or two. They literally would have me take a caravan or like whatever the van was, or the what do they call the not the minivan, right? And
Hmm.
literally drive it to a family's home and have them come into the car and get the experience and like bring it to them for the test drive, and then go in. And they were employing what solar salespeople use, which is if you can get in the house and get to the kitchen table, you're halfway home,
Yeah.
right? And it was just so uncomfortable, bro. Like I'm like
Yeah.
invading these people's homes at dinner time, the kids, like it was just that's such a nightmare.
Yeah.
Um,
I bet.
Yeah, but I've been really blessed with excellent training along my way. Even the guy that they saddled me with to try and help me learn how to sell cars was he taught me this thing where like if you're talking to somebody and they tilt their head a little, you
Mhm.
that's he was talking about NLP without even talking about NLP. That's the interesting thing when you
It's
get a
weird. They
bunch of
all do that.
information and some book knowledge and some very specific, oh, that's what that was. Right?
Hmm.
He would like literally be, getting buy-in by the nod, of course, and the
Hmm.
tilting of the head was like this acceptance and buy-in. It's just so trippy to look back on it. But I remember like I was working for ADT and I would go see these people that were so angry because they were having poor service or they got broke into, the system didn't work or whatever. It was all emotion based. And I'm like, I have no idea. It's like my first month in the industry. I have no idea about security, but I know people because I was a waiter for like the better part of 20 years. And that's really where I honed my ability to build rapport and connect with people instantly. Um, and so this guy got done with his tirade. First of all, I just let him vent, right? Which we do as hypnotherapists, just let him vent.
Oh, I'm
Uh,
sure.
and then
How
I just said something very simple. I said, I can't do anything about what's happened to you, but I can tell you how you'll be treated if you work with me. And it was like
strong? Yeah.
instant switch, man.
Hmm.
Like finally he felt heard. People just want to feel heard and seen, especially if you're trying to sell them something. And I wasn't there to try
Absolutely.
and sell him something. I was there to take care of his problem and see what else I could do to help.
I
And
mean, that's kind of the end goal of it anyway.
it really is. I mean, you said some other things that I connected to. I used to say I don't use this very much anymore, but I used to say I was a realistic dreamer, like
Okay.
wanting the best, but like expecting the best. But what did you how did you say it?
Hoping for the best and expecting the worst.
Yeah, that's that. I would encourage you to let go of that mantra. That is no bueno
Yeah.
because you're
Hmm.
You
affirming a
said it
negative.
doesn't work anymore.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool. I just went through this whole exercise this morning on listening to Neville Goddard and creating this whole talk track around the I am. Um,
Hmm.
had my own little breakthrough today, and then shared it with one of my
Nice.
clients. Perfect timing. Woke up to a text to him, and he's like, "What's my North Star? Please explain this to me." And I was like, "It's not outside of you, bro." Anyway.
That's
um
awesome.
I'm curious, what do you do to memorize lines? What technique are you using for that? That seems to be like for the layman, it just seems like so much to take on. Um, what do you do?
I mean, it is. It's a lot. And the more like theater I've done out here, the longer the scripts seem to be getting, like when it comes to monologues and everything else. So it's becoming increasingly challenging for sure.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, besides, the kind of cheating way, I guess, because my mom has helped me a ton forever and made what I don't know what it was, mom. It was I have the recordings too. It was like a recall thing,
I
basically. It
made
was
an audio
hypnosis.
recording, basically hypnotic recording to recall easily and effortlessly the
So
lines
not
from
the
his show.
actual words that he needed to memorize, but his ability to memorize.
Hmm. And he listens to that.
Yep.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, I listened to that when I did my first show out here, um, out in Simi Valley, and it like every day before rehearsal, I did that, and towards the end, I knew the entire script, even like everything that was in italics. I knew the entire thing front and
Wow.
back. Like you could pick a
Stage
random,
directions and everything, huh?
yeah, I knew the entire thing, and
Wow.
that's kind of what happened with Hotbed Hotel too. And that like it's just it ends up building on itself, which I didn't think was going to work like that. It's kind of cool. So that
What
helps a
does?
ton. Like that, listening to that recording.
Mm.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I thought it would just help with that, and it would slowly kind of slip away from me, and that's not been the case. It just keeps like those building blocks keep building, which is really cool.
Very cool.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Nice
Yeah,
job, Mom.
yeah,
Thanks.
killed it.
Yeah.
Um, besides that, I do have like a an app that I'll use where I'll record everyone's lines, including mine, and then just do it out loud over and over and over and over again. But
Yeah.
a lot of it's attached to blocking, so like the
Right.
movement on stage, and that's the easiest and fastest way to get it down.
Yeah. Hotbed had a lot of movement for you, which
Yes, it
which seems to
did.
play to your strength though, that physical comedy kind of, even
Hmm.
though we're not talking about pratfalls and whatnot. Um,
Hmm.
is that do you favor that?
I do. I during all the improv stuff and in high school, I took they had like clowning workshops. So I did those also, like old
Huh.
school vaudeville, like circus clowning, and that's like one of
Interesting.
my favorite things. So
So you learned how to
physical
juggle?
comedy. No, nope, I didn't
No?
do that stuff. I was more no, I was more focused on just like the movement and being able
Okay.
to do that kind of thing on stage and incorporate it whenever I could.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a good time.
Very cool. I think Tina's heard me tell this story because it's so fascinating to look at my life through the rearview mirror and be like, oh, like the first role I wanted to act in high school, but I grew up with jock parents. So my dad was a semi-pro football player. My mom was an incredible athlete. And so, to get their positive attention, I played sports.
Hmm.
And but I really wanted to act and do theater. But I didn't actually make it until I was at college, and I finally just decided to go out for a play and audition. Community college in Florida, and it was You Can't Take It With You.
Hmm.
Pretty infamous play, and Jason Robards had starred in Broadway, and I got the lead role as Jason Robards. I played
Nice.
Grandpa, and I had 440 lines to memorize.
Fun.
Dude, dude, I was so stressed.
I'm sure.
And you know what I did? I forget where I don't know if somebody I don't think the director was a great guy, just a really friendly guy and nice guy. And I can't remember if he told me this or if I mean, we didn't have I couldn't just ask Siri. There was no such
Hmm.
thing, right? There's no holding your phone going, what's the best way to memorize?
Hmm.
No, that didn't exist, right? So I ended up I don't know where I heard it, but I ended up recording myself monotone saying the lines, and then I would listen to it when I was going to bed,
Hmm.
which
Smart.
I've come to now understand that is the early stage, a very light stage of hypnosis that we're naturally all in, which is a great time to
Hmm.
feed your subconscious.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's smart. That's
Yeah.
cool.
It's pretty cool. I wish I knew
Hmm.
where I got that from, but it was just very interesting how you look back through life and you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
that's why that happened. Huh.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
what are you currently, besides selling yourself as an amazing, talented actor, are you a health industry now? Like I'm trying to,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
not
I
back,
work
you're
at
done with the cars for now, right?
that's done for good. I'm not
That's
going
done for
back to that.
good. You've done your
Yeah, we
time.
don't go backwards. Yes,
Right
we
on.
don't go backwards. I served my time. Yeah. I just sell memberships at 24 hours. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And so is this one of those somebody comes in, they get the free workout, but they got to meet with you, or like what's the scenario? Like how are you meeting potential clients? That do you call them clients? What do you Sales, like I, what do you,
Members, guests,
members.
I
Okay.
don't
So
know.
you're selling
Yeah.
memberships. You're not a
Hmm.
personal trainer. You're selling the memberships
No.
to the gym. Okay. And
Hmm.
so is it a blind introduction? Do you have any information about them whatsoever? Or is it just like,
Nothing.
hey, this is Drew?
Pretty
Hey, it's
much.
improv every day.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. Yeah, people just come in, they want to try the gym, and a lot of them just want a free pass to come in and do that.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of flip it on the spot, show them around, and then, not just build rapport with them, but find a way to break it so you guys are on common ground really quickly, and then just sell them a membership. I mean, the pricing helps. It's not super expensive. Not that going to a gym now and having a membership is cheap, but um, it's definitely affordable. So that
Certainly.
kind of helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, in the spirit of kind of the overarching subject matter for today, kind of like NLP and building rapport and sales and just kind of what do you use? And this, I know this is probably something you're doing naturally, and I'm going to make you
Mhm.
think about it. So I appreciate that you have to think on the spot. But like,
Yeah. Thank you.
can you share with us like what is it that you use to what I call kind of tear down the wall, right? Because typically, everybody that deals with somebody that's selling something of some sort is
Hmm.
expecting them to be that salesperson, that
Right.
gets a bad rap because
Yeah.
they,
There's a
they
terrible stigma attached to it for sure.
right. So what do
Um,
you do to kind of tear down that wall and just be Drew, the guy?
I don't talk about anything that has to do with the sale. Nothing at all. Um, we both know why you're here. So there's no
Right.
point in really talking about it till later. It works a lot. A better example, not the gym. I mean, it's a better example to use car sales. So obviously you're here to see a car. Obviously you're here to test drive. We know these things. Um, so it's mainly like, how's your day? Did you work? You don't have any work today? Cool. If they come alone, which was like 90% of the time, it was either like a guy that would come in alone, his wife isn't there, or vice versa. And that would be one of the first things, like, oh, cool. Like, where's your wife? Oh, you're married? Great. How long have you been married for? Are you happy? And that always kind of threw people off. And that's a way to like break the rapport instead of just building it, which is something I've always pushed to do,
Yeah.
just because it pushes for the commonality. And it's like, oh, okay, well, what do you mean? Am I happy? Like, I don't know. You've been married like, 5 or 10 years. How is it? Yeah, no, I'm happy. Okay, that's cool. Awesome. Now let's go drive the car.
Yeah.
Now you're
That
going to think
question
about
could
that. Then we're going to get
backfire.
to the car. It
Has it
it hasn't.
backfired
I
on you?
know. Nope.
No?
Nope. Because it's
Okay. You've
said
been
super
lucky.
genuinely. Yeah, there's no like weird, like sleazy thing behind it. It's
Yeah, yeah,
just a
yeah.
genuine, like, cool.
Yeah.
Are you happy? That's
Genuine
awesome. I'm
interest.
glad.
Right.
Yeah. And the second you get someone to talk about their kids and laugh, they're sold. It's done.
Yeah.
That's like the
Laughter is,
fastest way I ever did that.
yeah. Awesome.
Mhm.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to coach this because I was first I was an individual salesperson in the security industry, and then I was a sales manager and a regional manager for got almost 20 years. And I used to love doing this because I've had so much mindset training before I even knew the word hypnosis.
Mhm.
Because I was in sales organizations before I got into security, before I started waiting tables. And so there's this wonderful thing that I would try and get people to do is just like connect and see me as a person,
Yeah.
not a salesperson, but a person, like an
Mhm.
absolute human.
Yeah.
And that seems to be like the key. So to our listeners, if you're trying to connect with somebody, don't come at them with what you want.
Mhm.
Get the wall down. Connect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really not that hard.
Mhm.
I
A lot
think
of people get
Genuine.
stuck on what they're there to buy and what you're there to sell, and they get stuck in that whole thing. And it's not really about that. At the end of the day, you're just trying to help someone. That's really what it is. Help them get what they want.
that's right. That's right. Yep. Yeah. Mom,
Mhm.
Yes.
it's the least you've talked in all of our episodes. So I feel like I'm just
I,
like just totally loving
no, no,
vibing with Drew. So mom,
no, no,
that's
no,
your
Sorry.
go
cue,
right
by the
ahead.
way.
No, I mean,
Mom.
I got it. Yeah, no, a mindset. I mean, either you have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. Like you have, yeah, either it's fixed on, um, or your growth mindset is more, it's a belief that your abilities can develop through effort. Fixed is this is the way it is, and they're never going to change. So if you're sitting in that fixed mindset, then nothing ever changes. But if you're in growth mindset, which if it's taught even to children, they perform better at school. It's more reinforced. Like you can learn things, you can grow, you can change, you can acquire, um, you can believe in your abilities, you know, and you can. It doesn't even matter about degree so much as the ability to think and have that mindset is actually more beneficial for people. So there's my 2 bits on mindset. Growth mindset.
So what do you do to get into that, access that state?
Me,
What's either
you.
of you, both of you? You can, yeah, you've got the mic. Go ahead, mom.
um, growth mindset. I mean, everything. First of all, nothing ever stays the same, right? And so to evolve and grow and change and all those things, you have to have that mindset that stay or go. You know, leave or stay, come or go. It doesn't matter. You are doing you. You have to keep pushing forward into what it is that you want, truly desire. Um, you know, that's just how you have to be. Like otherwise, you're fixated, and that's it. There's nothing beyond that. Um, and it's it's very black and white, and that doesn't really work when you want to evolve and grow as a human. Not so much acquiring stuff, but just as a human.
Hmm.
So yeah, yeah. You gotta stay in that positive mindset though. And positive isn't always like hippy skippy, dippy dumb girl type of mindset. It's not. It's not. It's not. Whatever, don't come for me. It positive is positive that no matter what happens, you can persevere, you can change, you can grow, you can, get better. Um, it's not just about happy. Positive is not always happy. Positive is certain that you can survive and persevere
Mhm.
and grow and change.
So here's the
Absolutely.
question. How do you get into
Mhm.
that mindset? What action, or do you listen to something? Do you do something? Like how do you activate that part of you?
I think it's trained behavior over time. Like if there's a moment that I need to just click it on, well, we talked about this last week. Thunderstruck works. But to just click it on, I don't think that's a thing. Like mindset, I'm always in that mindset. But can I get out of that and go into a negative mindset depending on what I'm taking in and information? Yes. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is that if you stay in this positive state where you're doing your best, it doesn't mean you're not going to have bad days or negative things. But if you stay constantly in the state of growth, change, evolve, um, then there's not a trick to get into it. Like this is just what we do. I mean, maybe there's some people that have a trick. I don't have a trick.
No, I'm talking more about kind of the positive. We talk about how to kind of reframe thoughts and change loops and patterns. I'm saying, like, do you have a positive loop that you utilize? Like, are you a meditator? Like, do you understand where I'm going with this question?
Kind of, kind of.
How do you stay positive, I guess, is the better way to ask it.
Some people don't have any choice. The
Something I
alternative
was
is
going to
not
say.
very good,
Hmm.
um, which is true. Um, you stay in that mindset. Well, back to that inventory. What am I taking in? Okay, great. So if I find myself going down the negative, I then have to reinforce and take in more positive. Yes, there is meditative state. Usually, In the mornings before I go into work, after I drive, I'll sit for about 15 minutes and just, you know, set my day up. Um, Sometimes it's before I leave for work. And before I go to sleep, I just have continuous thoughts that are positive. Um,
So it's
those are
incremental,
sometimes,
like throughout the day.
sometimes, yeah, sometimes it
Okay.
has to be because there's a lot of stress. Um, if you're taking in a lot of negatives or a lot of negative stuff from people, you're going to have to, stop, kind of clear the path and like find something really positive to focus on for 5, 10 minutes. And then you can go back about your day. Um, I don't know, micro meditations work for me because I do have a lot of stuff coming at me. So I spend, two,
Hmm.
3 minutes just kind of micro breathing, focusing on something that's positive. That's how I do it, but that may not be for everybody
I
else.
wasn't asking for everybody. I was asking about you.
I know you weren't. I'm just saying. I'm just saying,
I
like,
don't know if
that's
you've
how I
you've
do
been
it.
paying attention, Drew, but like I've slowly been pulling your mom out of like not her cerebral kind of approach in the way that she
Hmm.
shares, like giving real like you just saw it was at least six
Yeah.
minutes that it took to get to that, right? Like I
See,
don't
but
use
that's
an
how she just
activator. What is
explained
this,
though.
my hair perm? Like,
But it lends itself to what she how she explained it though, because
yeah,
that's throughout the day. It's incremental. So it's the same
yeah,
way she explains things. It makes sense.
yeah.
It's fascinating. Yeah,
And what about you? Do you prepare for work differently than you do when you're about to go on stage? Because I know that
absolutely.
rush, that like your entrance, whether you're on stage when the curtains open or not, like you were in character the first time I met you, it kind of took me off guard. He was like all
Yeah,
Mr.
it's true.
Character and talking to me like I was a character in the play
Yep.
as well. It took me a second to
Yep.
catch on, but I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I know. I know. Something I've started doing, I never used to do this. I don't know what changed exactly and why it's I'm doing this now.
Hmm.
I used to just like be in the mindset, go for it when I was younger. And like once I took a break and started doing shows and stuff out here again, every time before a show, I will like when we get what, like 10 or 15 minutes to curtain, I'll find the darkest corner in the theater and get as close as I can to the wall and just stare at it until I go on. Literally until the moment I have to walk on stage. It's
I
like
like
15
that.
minutes of just nothing.
Just wipe
It's
the
just the
board
first
clean.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just the first line in my head
Because
over and
you've done
over
the
and over
work,
again.
you've
And I'm just,
prepared significantly, right? It's not
mhm.
like you're going to remember your lines at the last second. This is now
Yeah.
part of who you are. I love that. I
Hmm.
love that, Drew. That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it forces you to just be right there. There's nothing else.
Hmm.
And I've gotten some weird looks and no one's asked me about it so far, but
Interesting. Yeah,
because
I would imagine that would
yeah.
definitely raise a brow. Like, what is he doing?
Hmm.
Just prep work.
Yeah.
He's getting ready.
Yeah, don't worry. But I mean, before that, I never stop moving. Like once I walk in, like if it's opening night or tech week or anything, like once I walk into the theater, I don't sit down. I don't do anything. I just keep, like, I'll pace until I get that 15-minute call and then I'm just
Mm,
staring and then I go on.
very cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's
didn't
nice.
stare at a corner, but one of the first plays I was in that Playhouse West still puts on called Welcome Home Soldier. It's probably the
Hmm.
longest running play in Los Angeles. And I played the soldier. And
Hmm.
my first scene is I come home from Vietnam and long story short, get spit on by a hippie at an airport.
Hmm.
And so I'm like laying down, preparing for this scene in the back because I come in from front of house and come down through the audience,
Oh, cool.
like
Hmm.
the kind of like a pathway in the airport, so to speak. And
Hmm.
um, I have this huge emotional outburst that I'm supposed to have when this happens, where I literally strip down to my skivvies because I got to get that uniform off of me because that's not going to happen again, right?
Hmm.
And I just would lay there and just visualize or imagine these heavy emotions. Like I wasn't trying to create the scene, but it was like I was
Hmm.
allowing my senses, which your mom and I use a ton in imagery with our clients in hypnotherapy. It's just again super trippy, looking through the rearview mirror, going just wild how
Hmm.
everything has just kind of come together at this point in my life. Our mentor Cheryl said, she gave me this wonderful mantra a couple of sessions ago. She's like, "You're in the right place at the right time with the right people." I just love that. It
I
just
like
so
that. That's cool.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
right on.
Yeah, it
Well,
speaks to
man,
what we were talking about, just staying present.
yeah, that's what I'm getting
Yeah.
towards. Yeah, this in
Mm.
the moment, like that goofy exercise that you played along and did with me, where you just repeat words to each other. You're literally in the moment
Hmm.
of how is he saying it? Not the words. The words are
Hmm.
erroneous, right? Like NLP will tell you that 93% of our communication is nonverbal. But
Hmm.
within verbal is tone and pace and inclination of voice. And, Mom, you probably picked up the subtlety of how that interaction went, even though it was just the same words being said back and forth. The words became
Hmm.
erroneous. It just irrelevant.
Hmm.
Yeah. Cool.
Hmm.
I know the shtick.
I know you know. I know you know. I'm pulling you into the conversation. That's what a good co-host does. And as your best friend, I'm always caring about you. Always.
Yeah, I mean, I know the shtick. Like I've been sitting here watching it. Um, you know, and I think that's something that actors really struggle with is mindset. Like they get hooked into this is mine the minute, because that's what the mindset trick is,
Mhm.
right? Like they see it as theirs. What they don't know is to let go in that moment. Once they're standing there, just let go.
Hmm.
Stop holding on to it. Let it come to you. And if it's meant for you, then it's yours rightfully. But if it's not a yes, there shouldn't you shouldn't be already so invested emotionally into it to the point where you're devastated. Like you need, okay, great, that one's not for me. I'm not going to harbor or hold on to anything. I'm on to the next one already. Um, and I think that's super important for actors to remember is, you got to be on the next one.
And even when you do have it, like you don't really own it. You're sharing it. That's a
Mm,
huge difference, I think, that gets lost
Mm.
because everyone's so
yes.
caught up in like, well, I have this now, I've got this part, I'm going here, this audition. It's not yours. It's being lent to you. You get to share it.
Mm.
So
Mm,
that's how I've always looked at it. Like, thank you for letting me have this. Now it's yours again. And now it's the audience. And now it's on to the next person that does that show. Or, I guess that works more in theater than it does in TV and film, but even still, like it's something that's shared. It's a collaborative thing. So that's a little different.
Yeah, it is.
mhm.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know if Joe, we talk about Joe here a lot because we love Joe, but
It is best.
Joe was my first mentor when I was at HMI as a student, and we had several sessions, and one of the things that he gave me that I still hold on to and share with others is what's this word failure, right? And as you were talking about being an actor going out on all these auditions, right? That there is no
Hmm.
failure, right? You said it. I like the way you said it, right? It was this isn't just the right thing for me at this time. Doesn't
Hmm.
mean that I'm no good or a failure,
Yeah.
right? It's just as Joe said, right? And Joe's just echoing what he learned in NLP, which is there is no
Hmm.
failure, there's only feedback.
Feedback.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is really hard to live.
Oh, absolutely. It's way easier said than done.
Way
Like,
easier. Yeah. But if
but it's,
it's kind of like your mom's that state of mind your mom was talking about, right? Being in the positive state of mind. It is a
mhm.
choice. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
sometimes it's not easy, but
Mhm.
Mhm.
it is a choice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Absolutely.
just like choosing to accept the feedback of like just not the right time or right place. It's like when I get a lot of incoming opportunities with people, and I feel like if I can speak with someone on the phone, that odds are they're going to want to work with me if it's the right
Hmm.
fit. And since got that from Cheryl a few months ago, it's like kind of shifted the way I think about it. It's not that I'm not getting chosen. They're just not the right person for me to work with
Yeah,
in that
can't force
moment,
it.
right?
Yeah.
And that's
Keeping
okay.
in mind what you're seeking is seeking you, though.
Yes, I mean, I am a magnet.
There you go.
Mhm.
We all are, whether we believe it or not.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, is go ahead. I didn't,
Go ahead.
I didn't know if you were
Mom.
going to say something.
I can always say something, Tina. How long have you known me?
Well, that's why I was going to say something and I stopped. I thought,
I'm
well,
only
maybe he's not
quiet when
done
the
talking.
TV's on. Even then, I'm yelling at it and swearing at it.
So, what is the immediate goal for you, Drew? Yes, you.
What do you mean? That's
What do you mean? What do I mean? Where's the immediate goal for you? Where do you put your immediate goal?
my immediate goal.
Hmm. Hmm.
You're gonna have to phrase this differently. It's
Can
so
I
broad. Like what?
help
Like the next thing?
Sure,
as
go
a
ahead.
goal setter and getter? Can I help? So
Sure.
in NLP, we talk about the end goal and then we chunk down, which is smaller bites. So your mom went down. She started at the minute, like right now, what's in front of you, which is it's very interesting to me to watch this happening because I know how close you guys are, and I'm like, is she just putting him on the spot right now? Like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I
Always.
know. So
You
like
can
my
handle it.
ultimate goal would be a working actor. That was mine, right? And a working actor means that you are financially supporting yourself being an actor. You don't have to do a
Yeah.
side hustle here and sell a car
Mhm.
there and work at the gym
Well, let
once in
me
a
preface
while.
this. I already know what the end goal is. That's why I said, what's the immediate goal? What's going on right now? Let me rephrase.
I mean, yeah,
Maybe better said it be like, so I know your end goal is, I don't, our listeners don't.
I
I
don't know if he
appreciate,
wants to say that. That's why I
no,
said,
nope, we don't. We
yeah,
don't say it. We just
that's why
wait.
I said it that way. Like he's not going
ah,
to go out and say what the end goal is, but that's why I said, what's the immediate goal?
all
So
right. What are you working on now
The
to
me
achieve? How about that? Is that easier?
Yeah, I'm trying to just rebuild because I took 9 years off from doing acting.
Hmm.
Yeah, the first show I did was last year, and it was Arsenic and Old Lace out in Simi Valley.
I did not know
That
this
was my first
piece of
show.
information. Okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah. You saw the second and third one that I did.
Okay.
So it's been just getting. I'm trying to basically work at like all the different theaters that I can um, out here in LA, and then trying to get into a theater that has equity contracts for people that are not in equity so that I can get into equity and get paid to be on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's definitely the goal. That's pretty immediate, I think.
That's AFTRA,
And
right?
no, I'm already in SAG. The equity is different for theater.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like the sister union.
Gotcha.
Same difference
Gotcha.
though.
Okay.
So yeah, that would be it. But at the end of the day, like it's something I'd love to do. So if that never happens, that's just as good because I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it because I like to do it. It feels good to do. That's kind of the whole point. Doing it just for that, like, for notoriety or money or whatever is really
Mm-hmm.
cool. But if you're doing it just for that, you're not really doing it. I don't think.
I would concur.
Yeah.
I am living in a place right now. It happened last year where I got to this space where I'm living a life I love, helping others.
Hmm.
And it's not, I'm living a life helping others so I can make $1 million. Like that's not the goal. It's to be
Hmm.
of love and service to others, really, truly. That's my calling that I've figured out. It took a while. And there's been bits and pieces of it along the way that have led me kind of like the breadcrumbs on a trail to um yeah, like really self-actualization kind of stuff where yeah,
That's
soul
usually how it
fulfilling.
goes.
Huh?
I said that's usually how it goes.
It
That kind of
usually
thing where it
is,
like
yeah.
pops up in weird ways throughout your life, and then you find it and you go, "Oh shit, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Got it. I'm gonna go do this then."
Right on.
That's supposed to happen, I think.
I would concur. Yeah.
Yeah.
some people get to it really young, and then some people it takes a lifetime to get to.
Mhm.
Um, you know,
But God, when you
when
get there, it feels good.
right, it doesn't matter either way, though. Like you're collecting bits of information along the way, creating this life that you really love to live.
Yeah.
But there's all these moments that lead up to it, so it's not just one moment.
And those moments can be lovable.
Hmm.
There's been periods of my life where I absolutely loved what I was doing. It maybe
Hmm.
wasn't exactly what I dreamed up of doing, like,
Hmm.
waiting tables. But I thoroughly enjoyed that life. There's like this family, and my daughters are both very successful waitresses and
Hmm.
bartenders, and my daughter is just killing it over living in Kauai and just
That's awesome.
loving life, man, and makes enough to travel, and she's living her best life. The other one is about to graduate, and she's going to Hawaii. So it's all part of a dear friend of mine when I lived in Ashland, Oregon, used to say, it's every blade of grass that we walk across to get to where we are right now in this Zoom square with the three of us.
Hmm.
Hmm. It's all about the process.
Yeah, Harley says it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, right?
Hmm.
It's what you pick up along the way.
Absolutely.
I mean, I certainly didn't plan on meeting your mom at HMI. I didn't any plans of going to HMI. It's just like there she was.
Hmm.
Hmm. Me. um Causing trouble usually. um so immediate goal, you said that. What's something that you really really want to do, whether it's stage or film, or give me the big picture, like what's something you really want to do?
What I really want to do, I mean, the
Hmm.
end, not the end goal, but what I really want to do is just to make good films. That's the thing.
Hmm.
Like, I love theater. I think that's the, the top tier of things when it comes to acting. There's a lot of people that disagree with it, and like, there's a huge discussion about that with anyone that I've encountered in theater or on set.
Sure.
Um, I'm under the opinion and the idea that like theater acting is real. You do anything on TV or film, anything like that, it's
You can take
I
another
don't know. I think
take.
it, exactly. It's easier. It's easier all the way around. But the end goal would be to make like really good films, and it doesn't have to be something that's super amazing like the Avengers or something like that, but something that affects other people, makes them think,
Hmm.
changes your mind on stuff. It's that kind of thing. Because you can do that. You do that on stage. So to be able to do that in film would be really cool too.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, that should be the goal with it. It's art, right? You got to make people think, change their minds,
Hmm.
or get really angry. You just got to affect people. That's the whole thing. It's that kind of deal.
Go ahead, Don.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm just really enjoying the Orlandos together in the Zoom square. Yeah.
All right. um Trying to think. Have you ever come across a moment on stage where you've looked out into the audience and thought, A, maybe I've gone too far, or B, what I'm doing right now is having an effect on somebody? So, can you see it as an actor? Can
Hmm.
you see the effects that you're having on people?
Yeah. There was a, you were there for this. There was a show I did in Northern California when I was a part of this traveling improv troupe, Creatures of Impulse. Um, it's called The Series. So we would do a show every Wednesday through 1 month. And the characters from before would carry over to the next one. And then it would end on the fourth episode of it. In the first one that we did, the character that we made on stage and everything, it was like a soap opera, is how we ran it. At the end of the show, I ended up improvising some monologue on stage where I was standing on like a cliff, and throughout the show, like the character was really depressed, and I ended up jumping off the cliff at the very end. And when I came out, like after we finished and we bowed and everything, there were people that came up afterwards and like, that was really sad. You made me cry. I'll be here next week. I want to know what happens. I want to make sure he's okay. And I was like, okay, cool. And these were like adults. So it's not like there were,
Mm-hmm.
people my age coming up and saying that. And it continued that way throughout. Um, so I've had that kind of reaction. And I saw it when I was on stage. I saw the same thing when I did Arsenic and Old Lace at Simi Valley. I was playing Jonathan. He was the villain in it. I don't know if you've seen the film, Don. Um, yeah. So
I
it's
mean,
super old.
I've
It's from
heard
like the
of it, of
40s.
course, but I haven't, I don't remember seeing it.
It's good. It's funny. It's a dark comedy for sure.
Okay.
And I took a different approach with the character. I made it more manic rather than very monotone and scary. And I pushed it far enough to where like I tie up one of the other guys in the show and I have this knife and I'm pointing it at him and then I lick the knife. Like I was pushing it kind of far and people in the audience were uncomfortable, which was good because as the bad
Perfect.
guy, you want to make
Yeah.
them uncomfortable.
You
Yeah.
you
So
evoked an emotion. Nice.
yeah. So
Yeah.
those are to answer your question, Mom. Those are the moments.
Well, there's an emotional exchange there, right? Like
Oh
you're
yeah.
affecting
Mm.
somebody else's emotions.
Mhm.
Um, you know, good, bad, or indifferent. You have that ability to affect change of state in
Mhm.
somebody else.
Yes.
So, if you're talking about rapport, you've built enough rapport
Mhm.
to affect them, whether it's in sales, whether it's as an actor, whether you're just a person walking down the street. I mean, those skills, I if somebody's watching this, those skills are valuable skills to have. Being able
Mhm.
to change somebody else's state is pretty amazing, I would think, to experience.
I agree. It is, and it's
Mhm.
weird too, especially in high school when I did that show. I was like, oh, this is kind of a lot. This was all made up on the spot. It's been 2 hours. Weird. Like I
Mm.
had encountered that, especially with something like improv, where everyone thinks it's going to be really funny, and we went a different direction, um, which was really unique, like
Hmm.
experience wise. Yeah, very electric experience. That's a good way to put it.
Hmm. Hmm. Those are skills.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So how do you stay sharp? How do you how do you stay on track?
Um, I read a lot. I watch a lot of movies. I watch a lot of TV for sure. Um, and just keep doing things. The second you start to stop and slow down, you
Yeah.
can start to get rusty if you're not like either taking classes or, I mean, even it's kind of weird, but like taking notes on random people that you see that are really unique or doing something kind of strange that you wouldn't normally encounter, that helps a ton because you start connecting things in a weird way. And then when you get a character, you're like, oh, I can use this, I can take that,
Mm.
I can change this slightly. But those are important things to do. Everything is research, I think.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Fun fact I didn't know.
Huh.
Oh yeah. Been doing that for years. Yeah. Sitting there at a coffee
Mhm.
shop or a diner. I always have like a notepad with me or I'll use my phone. And if I see someone doing something weird, I'll eavesdrop on what they're saying and just take pieces of it.
Mm.
Make a
Hmm.
character. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. It comes in handy. I've
Cool.
used a bunch of stuff like that. Yeah. That's
Nice.
something they taught us. Where was it? It was a writing class that I took for sketch comedy when I was at the Groundlings. It was like a separate class that they were teaching for like SNL skit writing. And that was like one of the things he was like, when you go out, make sure you have a pen and paper with you. And if you see anything that's different or unique that you can use, write it down, save it. Who knows what it could be? Helped a ton.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I love that your mom does knows something now that she didn't know before about you. That's
Uh-huh.
crazy. How's that
Yeah, it's
possible?
weird.
How cool is that? Love it.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Well,
what's
I'm
next?
yeah.
Um, Audition tomorrow for the diner. That is next. And then later this month, we're either this month or next, we're going to shoot another episode of The Dealership, which is on YouTube. Yes.
Mhm.
So
So,
you're gonna have to share some links with me. You still have my
okay.
So maybe I don't know what, not your card or like what, I don't know what people are using now to kind of self promote. But
Sure.
if people are interested in you and want to kind of follow you along, send me and I'll put it in our show notes so they can
Okay.
reach out and follow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mom.
I'll text
Is
it to you.
there anything that's possibly coming up where you might want to say something?
You're talking about the podcast that, yeah. Okay. So,
Say what now?
yeah, I have a podcast. I wrote, it's a 10 episode thing that I'm starting with. It's called The Void FM. It's a fictional podcast
Hmm.
that takes place from like a radio station that's on an asteroid. It's all very sci-fi and
Huh.
it exists in like this totalitarian version of the solar system. It's very weird. Um, it's akin to like Welcome to Night Vale, if you've heard that, similar in some aspects. Um, but yeah, The Void FM. It'll be on Spotify only. So
All right.
yeah,
So you're gonna have to,
that's
do
probably a
we have
month
a
or two
link for
out.
that yet? Do you have an actual page
Not
created
not
yet? Okay. All right.
not yet, but I'll send you everything. I'll send you
Okay.
everything.
Cool.
Cool.
Uh,
Mhm.
so what a joy it's been to get to know you and spend time with you, and I feel like a little bit of the family vibe here. I'd love to take credit for you, but uh, it's just so wonderful. I just appreciate you and I love you, and you know how much I love my your mom, and um,
Mhm.
I really appreciate you taking time to be with us today. Thank you.
Yeah, privileged to be here. Thank you, and I love you too.
Yeah,
I'm glad to
you're
be here.
awesome.
Super
Yeah,
fun. Thank you, Don.
you're very welcome.
Mhm.
Mom.
I appreciate you being here. My best mother's voice. Oh no, he's amazing. He's wonderful. I'm glad he could take time out of his schedule and hang out with us. It means a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, anytime.
It's pretty special.
awesome.
Cool.
Okay, Mom.
Well, as I've always said,
Uh-huh.
the question is,
Ah,
our subconscious speaks. The question is, are you listening?
all right. Awesome. Thanks, you guys.